what just happened.
If I do what you want, you'll keep me in this chair forever.
You can see things before they happen.
Only my future. We need to get away from here. The way I try, she still ends up dead.
She's still alive. We all are. Let's try to keep it that way.
Who the hell are you people? Tell me what you saw.
I made a mistake. It's happening. Now!
The film opens with a brief glimpse of a mysterious woman. A man sits alone at a cafe, checking his watch. It is exactly 9 minutes past 8. He looks toward the entrance, waits for a few seconds, becomes disappointed, and then leaves. The scene shifts to Las Vegas, where the same man performs a magic show. His name is Cris Johnson. During the performance, Cris demonstrates his strange ability to predict events before they happen. He brings a woman from the audience onto the stage and correctly predicts that her necklace will fall off her neck. In the audience, a woman and a man watch closely. The man asks the woman if she truly believes Cris is real. After the show, Cris explains that he barely gets paid for performing, so he secretly gambles against the casino using small bets to avoid suspicion. He also reveals that he is not a god. He can only see 2 minutes into his own future, except for one strange vision involving a woman he once saw at a cafe. While gambling, the casino staff begins to suspect Cris is cheating. At that exact moment, Cris looks directly into the camera, as if he can hear their thoughts.
If he's running that good a system, why is he not betting more? That's going to be my second question. Look at that, he's looking right at us. It's like he can hear us.
When security is sent after him, Cris heads to cash out his chips. Suddenly, he sees a future where a man pulls out a gun, shoots the cashier and a police officer, and causes chaos. Before it actually happens, Cris jumps in, disarms the gunman, and stops the crime. Security guards rush in and mistake Cris for the criminal. He runs through the casino as guards chase him. Using his ability to see the future, Cris calmly avoids them, walking right past guards who somehow fail to notice him. The head of casino security watches in frustration as Cris escapes.
There he is, behind you. Your left. Turn around.
He's right between you.
Cris steals a car and flees, leading to a police chase. He sees a future where a train crashes into his car at a railway crossing. Knowing what will happen, he speeds up in time and narrowly avoids the collision, escaping the police. Meanwhile, the woman from the audience is revealed to be Callie, an FBI agent. She watches footage of Cris's escape and asks another agent to explain it. He says he is too busy because Russia has lost a 10-kiloton nuclear weapon, but Callie convinces him that Cris could be valuable. He gives her 5 days to find him. Callie questions the casino's head of security, who explains how Cris seemed to know their actions in advance. Callie concludes that if someone thinks about Cris, he can see what they are about to do. Cris later arrives at a garage and gives $20,000 to an older man who once helped him. The man tells Cris to forget the woman he keeps seeing in his visions. Cris refuses, saying he knows she will appear at the cafe at exactly 9 minutes past 8.
I don't know. Maybe she doesn't scare easy. Maybe she's the one.
Suddenly, Cris senses Callie coming. He sees a future where she confronts him about the nuclear bomb and pressures him to help. In reality, this conversation hasn't happened yet. Using this knowledge, Cris escapes moments before Callie arrives. Elsewhere, a man and woman violently interrogate the casino security chief to learn more about Cris. The next day, Cris returns to the cafe once again at 8:09 a.m. This time, the woman from his visions finally walks in. Her name is Liz. Cris repeatedly imagines different ways to approach her, each attempt playing out in his mind and failing. He keeps resetting the moment, trying new approaches. Before Cris can try again, a man named Kendall enters the cafe and aggressively confronts Liz. He grabs her arm, hurting her. Cris steps in and stops him. At first, Cris dodges Kendall's punches, but then he allows himself to be hit so Liz will see him as genuine.
See, the thing is, I feel connected. I don't know the reason why. See,
Kendall leaves, and Liz helps Cris up. They talk, and Cris tells her his car was stolen and he was supposed to be heading to Flagstaff. Liz offers him a ride, revealing she is going the same way. They leave together. Later, Callie and her partner arrive at the cafe. The staff tells them that Cris had visited the cafe twice a day for a full week, always at exactly 8:09, ordered a martini, and left, until today, when he finally met the woman. Callie asks where Cris and the woman went. A waitress says she heard they were heading toward Flagstaff. At the same time, at a harbor far away, the man who earlier hurt the casino security chief meets members of the mob. They unload a large object that looks like the nuclear weapon. Another man, wearing a tie, orders him to kill Cris because the police and FBI are becoming very interested in him.
Get rid of him. Do it now.
Cris and Liz arrive at a Native American community near the Grand Canyon, where Liz teaches children once a week. The children ask Liz if Cris is her boyfriend. She says no, but the kids laugh and say it looks like Cris likes her. Cris performs a magic trick for a boy named Jake, whose birthday it is. Liz later tells Cris that he is strange, but also charming. That night, Liz falls asleep on Chris's shoulder while he is driving. She wakes up when they reach a road that has been destroyed by rain. They have no choice but to turn back and stay at a motel. Since the room has only one bed, Cris sleeps in the car. Meanwhile, the FBI finds out which motel they are staying at. They are also almost sure, about 95% certain, that the nuclear bomb is somewhere in Southern California. Callie wants to use every resource possible to capture Cris so he can help stop the bomb.
I believe that the urgency of the situation compels the use of any and all resources to obtain Cris Johnson. We know where he is. Let my team pick him up.
A special FBI team is sent. At the same time, the mob is secretly watching the FBI and decides to follow them to get to Cris first. Back at the motel, Cris gives Liz a rose after she comes out of the shower and tells her she is beautiful. They share a moment and end up sleeping together. On the way to the motel, Callie receives a phone call and learns that someone is following the FBI. Later that night, Cris suddenly wakes up after seeing something terrible in the future. The next morning, the FBI watches Liz leave the motel room. Callie stops Liz and talks to her in a car while the mob watches from a distance. Liz is shown video footage from the casino where Cris stopped a man with a gun before the shooting happened. The FBI tells Liz that Cris is dangerous and mentally unstable. Liz becomes scared. They give Liz a drug and tell her to secretly put it in Chris's drink. The drug will make him fall asleep in 5 minutes, but she must wait exactly 2 minutes after Cris leaves the room before adding it.
This is important. You need to do it at least 2 minutes after you get him out of the room.
Why do you need me? Why can't you just get him?
Liz returns to the room and asks Cris to wash up while she makes breakfast. Outside, the mob waits with guns, ready to shoot Cris if they get a clear shot. After 2 minutes, Liz puts the drug into the drink. When Cris comes back and is about to drink it, Liz suddenly stops him and tells him everything. Cris secretly switches the drug drink with a safe one and steps out onto the balcony to drink it instead. The mob still can't get a clean shot, and the FBI believes Cris will fall asleep in 5 minutes. Cris goes back inside and explains to Liz that the man in the casino really was going to kill 2 people. It just hadn't happened yet. Liz doesn't believe him. To prove it, Cris turns on the TV and says what people will say before they say it. He explains that he can see 2 minutes into his future, except when it comes to Liz. He can see much farther with her. Liz is overwhelmed and scared. She asks why the FBI wants him. Cris says it's about national security, but 2 minutes isn't enough time to stop a nuclear bomb. Cris gives Liz $10,000 and a note. He tells her to read the note and wait exactly 45 seconds before doing what it says.
Read this when I leave and wait exactly 45 seconds before you do what it says. I'll take Ferris with me. It might be a week or a month, but if you can wait, I'll find you.
Callie suddenly feels something is wrong and rushes out. She sees Cris leaving the motel room and looking straight at her. Cris checks his watch and then jumps off the cliff. The FBI chases after him. The mob opens fire, but Cris dodges every bullet. Liz reads the note, gets into her car, and lets it roll off the cliff. As the car falls, heavy objects tumble down the cliff, forcing the FBI agents to take cover. Cris avoids everything and keeps running. Callie catches up to him, but falling debris puts her in danger. Cris grabs her and saves her life. At the same time, the mob captures Liz. Even though Cris saved her, Callie arrests him. Cris is tied to a chair and forced to watch the news. Callie tells him to use his power and push beyond 2 minutes to find the bomb. Instead of seeing the bomb, Cris sees a horrible vision. Liz is strapped to a wheelchair on top of a parking garage. A moment later, she is blown apart. Callie asks what he saw, but Cris refuses to tell her. He knows they would keep him locked up forever. Cris is taken to a cell. He asks for a cigarette to distract the guards, then attacks them and escapes, just like he did in the casino. The FBI chases him through the streets. Cris runs into a multi-level parking garage and climbs the stairs. Callie tells the other agents to stay back and follows him alone. At the top of the garage, Cris stops. When Callie reaches him and asks what he saw, Cris finally tells her the truth. Liz will be executed right there on the roof. Callie tells Cris that the mob is using Liz as bait to kill him. Cris says he already knows this. They agree to work together.
They're using Liz as bait. 10 to 1, you go out on that roof, they're gonna put a bullet in your brain.
I know.
Right now, she's still alive.
Soon after, Cris walks out onto the rooftop. A mob sniper on another building shoots him. Cris falls to the ground and pretends to be dead. At that moment, an FBI helicopter appears behind the sniper. The shooter fires at the helicopter, and the FBI agents are forced to kill him. Cris realizes that he cannot save Liz on the rooftop within 2 hours. Callie suggests that instead of looking ahead, he should look for clues in the near future that can lead them to Liz earlier. Cris focuses and manages to see the license plate number of a white van. Using that information, the FBI locates the van at the harbor. Cris helps the FBI plan the attack, telling them exactly what to do and when to move so no one gets hurt. At the harbor, Liz is forced into the white van. Just as the mob is about to escape with her, the FBI storms the area and overwhelms the criminals. The van tries to flee, but Cris tells Callie the exact moment to shoot, so the van rolls over instead of exploding. Liz escapes from the van and runs into a nearby building. Cris helps the FBI take out snipers while moving toward her. Unfortunately, Liz is captured again and used as a human shield. The kidnappers drag her onto a large cargo ship. Inside the ship, the mob sets up an explosive with a laser trigger. As the FBI enters, Cris sees the explosion in his mind before it happens and warns an agent just in time to stop it. Suddenly, Cris is shot in the chest, but he had already seen it coming. He tells the FBI where the sniper is, and they take him out before he can fire again. To find Liz inside the massive ship, Cris looks into many possible futures at once, imagining different paths, as if he is searching everywhere at the same time. Finally, he sees the correct future and leads the FBI to her location. They reach Liz, but her captor threatens to shoot Cris if he comes closer. Cris tells him he has seen every possible ending, and none of them end well for the kidnapper. The man refuses to back down. Cris walks toward them. The kidnapper opens fire, but Cris dodges every bullet. When the man runs out of ammo, he grabs a remote to detonate the bomb attached to Liz. Callie reacts instantly and shoots the kidnapper dead. Cris tells Liz that it's over, but Callie says it's not. The nuclear bomb has been moved, and they must find it immediately. Cris looks at a monitoring system that detects explosions. Suddenly, he sees something terrible. He says something is wrong. When Callie asks what he sees, Cris only says he made a mistake. Then he shouts, "It's happening now." The nuclear bomb detonates. Moments later, we see Cris waking up in the motel bed. Everything we just watched was a vision of the future. Cris immediately calls Callie and agrees to help stop the bomb, but only if Liz is kept out of it. He wakes Liz and tells her he has something important to do. He promises he will come back if she waits for him. In the final scene, Callie asks Cris if he's ready. Cris replies, "I am." The movie ends.